Hey, good evening, everyone. My name is Dan Whitfield. I'm the independent candidate running for United States Senate here in Arkansas. I do a weekly live stream Q&A and update every Saturday evening around 6 p.m. So I'm going to give you all just a couple minutes to get online and get this video shared. Go ahead and get our Q&A going for the week. Let's see here. All right. Well, I see somebody liked my video. So there must be some people online, even though it says live 0. So I will go ahead and get started. Thank you all for joining me this evening. My name is Dan Whitfield. I'm the independent candidate running for United States Senate here in Arkansas. You can check out my website at replacetomcotton.com. Now, every Saturday evening around 6 p.m., I do a live stream Q&A and an update where I'll answer any questions y'all have, as well as give you updates on what happened during the last week and what we expect to come for the upcoming week. All right, this is going to be a pretty short video because actually a lot has not changed. We're still waiting on our judge's ruling for ballot access at this point. Now, there was one minor change, which I'll go ahead and talk to you all about in just a couple minutes. Let me see. Will I keep my promise of letting us throw me in the trash if I do not keep my promises? Absolutely. 100%. I think it's very important that we hold our representatives responsible for the actions that they make. Now, in Iceland, after the Panama Papers came out and the Icelanders saw that their prime minister was actually embezzling their money, they stormed their capital. They went into the building and they picked him up from his desk and took him out and threw him in a dumpster. And I think that that is very symbolic to what we should be doing to our elected representatives when they fail to represent us the proper way. So, all right, updates. Let's see here. Number one, happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there. I hope y'all are enjoying your afternoon like I am. It is a beautiful one. We have a severe storm risk here in northwest Arkansas, but so far nothing, just a little bit of clouds. So it's a beautiful afternoon for us out here. All right. Now, for our campaign and our update, where we're at right now. Judge Baker, the Honorable Judge Baker, she was the judge we had for our hearing for ballot access. She is the one who we are awaiting her ruling to determine whether or not we will be on the ballot. Judge Baker also oversaw a case last year for the Libertarians. The Libertarians also had to sue for ballot access. After their lawsuit, they won their lawsuit. Judge Baker ruled in their favor, and immediately the Secretary of State, the Honorable Judge Thurston, with his defense counsel, the Attorney General Leslie Rutledge, appealed the judge's decision. 2 days ago, that appeal made it through the Eighth Circuit courts, and the Eighth Circuit Court ruled in Judge Baker's favor. They said her ruling was to be upheld, basically, which is really good for us. Now, that doesn't affect our case directly, but what it does is it creates precedent for whether or not Judge Baker's ruling will be upheld. So it has taken 3 weeks. Let's see, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 days. So we are at about 25 days right now since our hearing. And I guarantee you, if the Honorable Judge Baker did not want to give us ballot access, it wouldn't have taken her more than 3 weeks to tell us we don't have ballot access. So I'm really confident. I'm feeling positive. We made a really good case during our hearing, and the defense failed to make a good case against why we should not have ballot access. So we will hopefully have ballot access. We're just still awaiting the final word. All we can do is wait. We just have to be patient. We can't rush her. We don't need to be reaching out to her, sending her emails, texts, or anything like that. We just got to be patient. And I'm confident she will rule in our favor. So we just got to be patient, y'all. I've been getting that question a lot. While I'm going through this update, make sure if you have any questions, ask any questions you have on here, and I will answer any questions that you guys have before I end my live stream. But that's pretty much the only update we have at this point is Judge Baker's prior ruling to the Libertarian Party was upheld in the circuit courts after the Secretary of State and Attorney General appealed it, which is really good for us. Awesome. So another thing that means is do not be surprised if they appeal her ruling to give us ballot access. We are expecting that. It's not a bad thing. It's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. In fact, it's a really good thing because number one, as soon as they appeal her order to give us ballot access, that gives us national attention. That could be a huge mistake on their part. It's going to say that a judge ruled that we should have ballot access and that the Republicans should have an independent challenger. And it's also going to say that when a judge ruled in the independents' favor, the GOP came back after getting the Democrat, basically to drop out, trying to prevent someone else from getting on the ballot. So it'll be really good if they appeal it. Do not freak out. We're expecting them to appeal it. And again, on that note, as soon as we have the notice saying we officially have ballot access, I've already got it planned. We're going to go out and we're going to do a press conference, have all the local and national media at the press conference. We're going to let them know we do have ballot access. Tom Cotton is not running unopposed, and we'll do a big public press release right away. Let's see here. I'm still down to throw Cotton in a dumpster anytime. Absolutely. Well, unfortunately, he's got to be in Arkansas to do that, and he doesn't really come here very often. Another thing I guess I could address real quickly, I don't want to get too deep into, is I've been having a lot of people message me about the Blue Hog Report, stating that Tom Cotton doesn't live in Arkansas. Well, we all kind of know he doesn't live in Arkansas. He doesn't represent Arkansas, and he takes all of his money from out of state. He put a fake address as his registered voter address. It is what it is. We don't need to, attack him for it. We have plenty of reason to vote him out of office rather than the fact that he didn't file properly and that he doesn't actually live in Arkansas. So I am aware of the Blue Hog Report. I am aware of the shady stuff going on using the P.O. Box and all that stuff. But we can focus on other things that are actually affecting us as Arkansans on why we need to vote him out. Let's see here. Thinking positive, Sandy here. Thinking positive, we will get ballot access and we will beat and throw Cotton in the gutter where he belongs. Absolutely. I'm very positive and confident about our ballot access. Like I said, if the Honorable Judge Baker didn't want to grant us ballot access, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have taken her 3 weeks to tell us no. She's just covering her own, she's covering her own back right now. She knows that this ruling will be appealed, and she wants to make sure that she's very thorough in her ruling, which is completely understandable, and I appreciate her taking the time to do that. Oh, see, there we go right there. Melissa, have you read the Blue Hog Report article about how Cotton is being shady about his place of residence? Yes, I have. Again, we're not going to focus on that. I think what we should focus on when we're looking at our campaign against Tom Cotton is the fact that what has he done for his constituents? What has he done to represent Arkansas? And how have Arkansans benefited from his time in office? And if we focus on those things, I think it'll be a lot more relevant than rather, is he actually a registered voter in the state and does he really live here? So let's see, Sierra, do you think running as an independent will hurt your chances of winning as opposed to complying to our deeply rooted two-party system? That's a really good question, Sierra. Thank you so much for asking. So normally, yes, running as an independent would be very difficult. I knew this wouldn't be an easy race when I first announced, when I registered, and when I filed to run. I knew it wasn't going to be easy as an independent, especially as a progressive independent, because I would be splitting a lot of the Democratic vote with the Democratic candidate. Now, along those lines, we are in a very, very unique race. It is not often that there is not a Democrat in a United States Senate race. It almost never happens. Now, because of that, that gives us a unique opportunity to get the Democratic vote, get the independent vote, and get the Republican vote of people who are fed up with Tom Cotton and how he has failed us as his constituents, but would never vote for a Democrat because they're worried about, a representative that's only going to caucus with the Democrats or a representative that's going to take their guns or things like that, where that's not me. As an independent, I believe that a representative should answer to their constituents and not a political party. I'm going to work with the Democrats, I'm going to work with the Republicans, and I'm going to work back and forth across the aisle to negotiate legislation that's going to best benefit my constituents. So normally, running as an independent, yes, it would be very difficult in the two-party system, but the two-party system doesn't work when there's only one member of the two-party system running. Let's see here. Stay positive. Thank you, Melissa. I'm very positive about it. I've got faith. We've got this. Hey, Allison, thank you for joining us. And Jeanette, thank you. Olivia, it's my honor. I feel like it's my duty as an American. I'm the first male in my family not to serve in the military, and I feel like I can best serve my country in this position right here, representing my constituency and representing Arkansans as the working people of America. Corey, I'm excited to have a non-cotton option. I'm looking forward to learning more about my platforms. Thank you, Corey. Make sure you check out replacetomcotton.com. That's my website. You can see my issues there. You can see all of my different new ideas that I'm bringing to Congress. An example of that would be if you go to replacetomcotton.com, go to, I don't know if it's the campaign tab or the Meet Us tab or About tab or whatever, but look for the donation spent option on there. And if you click donation spent, you can actually see where I've spent every single dollar for our campaign. And I even have listed how much money we currently have in our account, so you can see how much cash we have on hand. That way you can see that we're not mismanaging our funds, we're not wasting any money. It blows my mind. I have no idea. Tom Cotton has already spent $3.5 million on this campaign. $3.5 million already. I have no idea where this money's going. We know where it's coming from. It's coming from corporations and billionaires for the most part. But where has he spent $3.5 million? It's not like we've been seeing any ads or anything like that. But anyways, you can see where we spent our money, and you can see with our financial transparency how our money is not being mismanaged in any way. Aiden, thank you so much for your vote. I do appreciate it. I hope I can earn your vote, and I hope you keep an eye on our campaign to make sure that when the time comes on November 3rd, we still have earned your vote. Kevin, is there anything that you would agree with that Cotton has done while in office? I'm coming up with zilch. Oh, man. What has Tom Cotton done that's good for his constituents? Got me, man. I'm stumped, honestly, and I research Cotton a lot all the time. I don't think there's really much that I would say he's done that's good for us while he's been in office. I don't have one for you. Sorry. Jeanette, Tom Cotton is horrible, and I think that focusing on the fact that he is disconnected with Arkansas is important. Absolutely. One of the things that I really, is really important to me that's going to be different than a Tom Cotton what's the word I'm looking for, representative, would be my office in DC. I'm going to have Arkansans in my office. If you call my office to talk to me or ask me questions about policy or anything like that, you're going to be talking to Arkansans. You're not going to be talking to some person who's never even set foot in Arkansas before, who has no idea what different, problems we're facing here in Arkansas. Allison, I about died the other day when I posted to throw me in the dumpster. If you don't follow through on representing us, absolutely, that's my duty. My duty is to represent you. If I even begin to get corrupt, which I'm not, because that's not why I'm in this. I'm in this to get the corruption out. I would expect y'all to hold me to that and take me out of office. We've gotten to the point where our representatives no longer represent us. Our representatives take huge sums of money from corporations, from billionaires, from special interests in order to vote on legislation that actually directly hurts their constituents. And that is not what our government is supposed to be. That is not by the people, for the people. That is by corporations, for corporations, and that is not what a representative republic looks like in my eyes. Lisa, I just wanted to say that I really truly believe in you and your campaign. Thank you for championing the people of Arkansas. Hey, Tom Cotton. Oh, thank you, Lisa. Like I said, it's my honor. I'm very lucky to be able to have the opportunity to represent y'all. I feel like we really, really, really need representation right now when when we really just haven't for so long. We have to have a voice in the legislative branch if we're going to have a voice in our government. And our government's not going to work for us until we take back control of our government. Allison, I got several people to start following you. Thank you. Yeah, we've actually been gaining a ton of followers. We're finally getting a little bit of, some not notoriety. People are starting to take notice of our campaign, which has been the biggest difficulty throughout this entire process, is getting people to know that Tom Cotton is not running unopposed. So thank you, Allison. That's the most help right now that anyone could offer, is helping spread the word of our campaign. Under campaign tab, thank you, Sandy. So yeah, replacetomcotton.com, click campaign, click donations spent, and you can see where we've spent every dollar. Kylie, love your transparency. Have you seen the article about his apartment? No way he lives there. Yeah, I know about the Blue Hog Report. I know he doesn't live in Arkansas. He doesn't represent Arkansans. But we're going to focus on policy and focus on how he has not helped his constituents in the last 6 years. I mean, some of the main things he campaigned on were, let's see, sorry, it's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day again, y'all. I'm kind of just taking a break today and relaxing. I almost didn't even do this live stream. I'm in my hammock. I hope y'all are in your hammocks as well. But I have seen the ad. We're just going to focus on policy, how it's failed to help us. And like I was about to say, some of the things he campaigned on originally was, number one, not repealing the Affordable Care Act until there was a replacement for it, which he has failed to do. They haven't offered a replacement for the Affordable Care Act, and he has voted to repeal it 3 times now. So that's just one campaign promise that he broke. Another one was he was campaigning on lowering the deficit and helping, solve the debt in America. Well, unfortunately, since he's taken office, the deficit has gone up more than $7 trillion, and it's greater than ever. And the problem is that deficit, that extra money, it's not going towards Americans. It's not helping us. It's going to defense contractors. It's going to special interest donors. And we need to make sure that if we're going to be spending huge amounts of money to raise our deficit, that at least that money is coming back to us and helping benefit our society as a whole. I know, Carla, I haven't seen any ads for Cotton as well. I have no idea where his $3.5 million has gone. Kevin, I figured there was nothing. I'm in agreement. I'm amazed he hasn't blocked you. I've been blocked on all platforms. Oh my goodness, Melissa. I am honestly amazed he hasn't blocked me as well. I've given him lots of reason to block me. Every time he makes a dumb post, I make sure to put my opinion on there and correct his mistakes. I'm surprised he has not blocked me as well. Thank you, Michael, Jason, for joining us. Let's see here. Mary, he is not represented. Unfortunately, he really is not. Aisha, how can we help besides donations? Okay, so that's a great question. I know, especially with COVID-19 right now, everyone's kind of hurting. Our unemployment rates are up, and everyone's struggling on how they're going to pay for their bills and their mortgage and rent and things like that. The best way to help our campaign right now is, if you're not in our private volunteer group, send me a message and I'll get you an invite to our group. I have a few different teams on there that I would love help with, from media correspondence to website development to editing to think tanks, to where I'm actually getting our constituents together to have think tanks for legislation rather than paying billions of dollars to think tanks to make legislation for us. If you would like to help our team out, just send me a message and I'll get you an invite to our volunteer group. Other than that, share our posts. Let everyone know that Tom Cotton is not running unopposed, because that's been our biggest struggle so far, is getting that word out there. Alpita trauma technical issues. Awesome. How are we supposed to get Arkansans to realize that Cotton doesn't benefit them at all? It's really hard. You just got to talk to people. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if you know they're a conservative or a liberal, you just got to talk to them. And don't start with, whether you're Republican or you're Democrat. Just start with, these are the problems we're facing, and this is how I think we can fix them. And this person right here agrees and thinks that we can fix the problems this way, and start talking about the problems and solutions. And that's how you can actually start to get stuff accomplished. Let's see. Oh, thank you guys. You all are so amazing. I mean, I can't say enough how much I really appreciate y'all's support. You guys have just been so amazing throughout this whole process. Without y'all, we wouldn't have a campaign at all. I agree, Jeanette. Someone who doesn't even live here can't begin to represent us, and he hasn't even lived through a lot of the struggles that most Arkansans have lived through. We're the 49th richest state in America, meaning the only state more poor than us is Mississippi. I've started at the bottom, and I've worked my way up to where I am now. I mean, I grew up in a trailer. My mom worked 3 jobs after my parents got divorced so that we could, she could rent a house and get us out of where we were. I've worked my way up. I've been on Medicaid. I've been on WIC. I've been on, SNAP, all these different programs back, in the day when we needed help. And I was able to work my way through it. I understand the struggles and the hoops you have to go through and the bureaucratic nightmares. We have to have representatives that have been through all this stuff and understand what we're going through if they're going to represent us. And growing up with a silver spoon is not the right answer. A majority of our representatives are millionaires. They don't even know what it's like to even work 40 hours a week or 50 or 60 or 70 or 80 hours a week. They have no idea what it's like to be a working class American. So we have to make sure that we are electing and voting for representatives that have lived through the struggles that we're going through, that they can understand the legislation they're voting on before they vote. Let's see here. I know he does think he's safe, and just wait till November. We're going to surprise him. We're going to make history here in Arkansas. He's recently announced he wants to run for president in 2024. Well, let me tell you all this right now. If we defeat Tom Cotton in November and he loses to an independent in Arkansas, his home state, he won't have the electability required for the RNC to put him up as a presidential candidate. So not only are we going to defeat him being a senator in November, we're going to prevent the, travesty, I can't even think of a word terrible enough to represent how much worse he would be than Donald Trump as a president of America. Let's see. You trying to get blocked? Yeah. Interview on CNN, MSNBC, we're getting there, it's still hard because these major media outlets are still saying he's running unopposed. So maybe they just don't know about us, and we're working on getting that notoriety required to get onto these shows. Yes, he did write a letter to Iran. Tom Cotton did author a letter, had 46 other United States senators sign it, and sent it to the leadership of Iran, stating that they would not honor any agreements made by the President of the United States of America and the leadership of Iran, basically violating the Logan Act and trying to negotiate with a foreign government. The only reason those 47 traitors were not arrested was because of the political firestorm that would have been created by trying to arrest 47 senators at the same time. Let's see here. He lives in the Koch brothers' pocket. Absolutely, Jason. In 2014, Tom Cotton took $8,400,000 from the Koch brothers. Then he voted on the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which temporarily, for 1 year, suspended the estate tax. So when David Koch died last August, his wife inherited $61 billion. $61 billion untaxed. In 2018, the Koch brothers put $400 million into the election cycle. Why would they put $400 million in? Because they knew he was sick, and when he died, they would save them $25 billion. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's all corrupt. It's super crazy. And I think we need more representatives and more legislators that actually understand what's going on and that will kind of take on this corruption in our government and will not allow stuff like that to happen. What's my favorite thing about Arkansas and Arkansans? Honestly, Nikki, my favorite thing about Arkansans is Arkansans are some of the most courteous people I have ever come across. I mean, I've lived in Nevada, California, Wyoming, Louisiana, and Arkansas. I've lived in 5 different states, and I mean, y'all are just the best quality people. I really couldn't ask for anything more and a better people to represent than the people of Arkansas. I love the beautifulness of our natural state. I love to fish. I like to hunt. Arkansas is my paradise. I'm kind of out back just chilling today for my Father's Day. This right here, this is my paradise. This is as good as it gets. I live in the middle of the forest. I couldn't ask for anything more. Let's see here. Can I get on Rachel Maddow? I have no idea. Again, we're working on getting our campaign more known so that we can actually get some of the larger media attention. Let's see. What are plans for the DCFS system? So I have plans. Amanda, I'm not sure what DCFS stands for. If you can clarify, I can answer for you. If he gets ballot access, Rachel would invite him. That would be awesome. Yeah, we are hoping once we get ballot access to get a lot more notoriety and for people to start taking us a little bit more seriously. Worst part is Grustle, Tom Cotton being the president. Oh, I know. I don't think he'll be the president. Enough people can understand and see some of the negative things he's done, and I don't think we have to worry about that happening. But it is really scary. Scared to death they're going to gut Social Security represent. Absolutely, Carla. We have to protect Social Security. We really do. And not only do we have to protect Social Security, we need to make sure that we remove the income cap on Social Security. That way we can make sure that it's funded for future generations to come. And it is treason, unfortunately. When we were talking about the Logan Act violation. Yeah, thank you, G's. We gotta share the platform, get the word out there. So Aiden said, what is my plan for the massive white nationalist issue in Arkansas, KKK, Shield Wall, Network, etc.? The Ku Klux Klan is a terrorist group. It's no question, it's no secret. They are terrorists. They are white supremacists. They are full of hatred. They murder. For the most part, they run guns. They do sex trafficking, drugs. They are a terrible group, and we have to work on getting rid of the KKK groups in Arkansas. There's just no room for that kind of hatred here in our society. As far as what I plan on doing, I mean, there's not a whole lot that I could do as a legislator. One thing that we can do is we can make sure if we are labeling organizations such as Antifa, which is actually not even an organization, it's a state of mind, then we can outlaw organizations such as the Ku Klux Klan and make sure that they are labeled correctly as terrorist groups. Oh, thank you, G's. Happy Father's Day, Pizza Dan. Yeah, I mean, I've been working at Domino's on the weekends for about 5 years. I'm not ashamed. I got to make that extra cash to help pay for bills, and especially while I'm in school, everything piles up. I am not ashamed to be part of the working class. When will the ballot access decision come? And then maybe reach out to Crystal Ball from Rising the Hill. Yeah, absolutely. I would love to get on with Crystal Ball. I've kind of been tweeting at her, trying to get her attention, but I'll continue and see if we can get on there. Now, I am going to finish up. My battery is getting low, and everything else going on. So let's finish up real quick. Ballot access. That's one of the biggest questions I get. Actually, before we get there, I hope I have enough battery. 5%. Okay. All right. One other thing I did want to mention was I've been getting a lot of questions about the Black Lives Matter movement and about law enforcement and protesting and things like that. So I did want to make very clear that I do support the Black Lives Matter movement. It is very important that we start to understand the systematic racism that's been sewed into our society that has allowed things like police brutality to come to surface and to, basically go without reproach. It's disgusting. We have to do something about it. And that's just the symptom of a problem. And the problem comes down to the education, or rather the lack of education, the lack of funding to schools that are in minority predominant neighborhoods. When I spoke with the head of the Rural Teachers Association here in Arkansas, we were trying to figure out how are we going to raise the funding to schools? How are we going to make sure that teachers are getting paid appropriately and not living off $30,000 a year? What it comes down to is, I think the best way that we can fund schools is we need to equal the amount of funding we give to schools, not based on community taxes, but based on federal taxes. We've got to make sure that our teachers, we have a very unique problem here in Arkansas where in some parts of Arkansas, we have some of the highest paid and, teachers in America and the best education in America. And at the same time, we have some of the lowest paid teachers as well as the worst education, scores and ratings. So we have to figure out how we can spread our finances evenly. And I think that that will help a lot with, some of the systematic racism that's been sown into our educational system. And then, that doesn't even get into equal employment opportunities, equal wages. I've said it a couple times, still to this day, a Hispanic woman still makes 52 cents to the dollar for what a white male does with the same experience, the same education, and the same position. So we have to make sure that we have equal employment, equal pay, equal education, equal health care, all of these different things that have been holding these different minority groups back. It is a big movement, and we have to pay attention. We can't afford not to pay attention any longer. And you can see that with the frustration that people are feeling and how they're taking to the streets to express these frustrations and this pain and this anger that has been dwelling for so long that is finally brought to the surface. We have to address this issue. We can't ignore it any longer. As far as defunding the police, I think defunding the police was not a really appropriate term. What we need to be doing is we need to be demilitarizing the police, raising the educational requirements to be a police officer. We need to have police held accountable to community review panels after internal investigations or internal affairs has gone through. We need mandatory minimum sentences for police officers that murder American citizens that are unarmed. We have to do something to stop these unarmed murders from happening. It is not okay, and it is something that I do plan on addressing, of course, day one with many other pieces of legislation. Now, as far as the court ruling goes, while I'm at 3% real quick, I do have to end my video here real shortly. We are still waiting for the judge's decision. The Honorable Judge Baker we had our hearing on May 27th. We are waiting for her ruling on whether or not we will have ballot access. It's been more than 3 weeks. If she wanted to deny us ballot access, she would have done it already, I believe personally. So I'm confident she will rule in our favor. We just have to wait and be patient. 2 days ago, the Libertarians also had to sue for ballot access as well because the GOP tried to prevent them from getting ballot access by raising their signature requirements. They had to sue the Secretary of State as well. They won their lawsuit. Their judge was Judge Baker. Their attorney was James Linger. We had the same attorney. We had the same judge. They ruled in the Libertarian Party's favor. After the Libertarians won their ruling, they paid over $55,000 for signatures and got their signatures for ballot access. Immediately, the Secretary of State and Attorney General appealed that court decision against Judge Baker, and 2 days ago, the circuit courts ruled in Judge Baker's favor, stating that her ruling should be upheld. So that gives us precedent for our case and makes it even stronger that we will probably have ballot access. So we just have to be patient, keep on everything. When were we doing Star Wars trivia? Allison, Wednesday. Sorry, I'm trying to finish up school right now. I'm doing I had gotten my final halfway done for this summer semester. And I'll finish my final this evening, and then I'll be done with my school for the summer. We will get trivia done Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Star Wars. It'll be a lot of fun, so make sure you all join us all. But my battery, I'm down to 1%, so thank you all so much for joining me. My name is Dan Whitfield. I'm the independent candidate running for United States Senate here in Arkansas. I do a live stream update every Saturday evening around 6 p.m. We do our weekly trivia Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Our topic this week will be Star Wars, so it'll be a lot of fun. Make sure you join us. If you have any questions, just send me a message. I'll answer. Give me a phone call. I'll answer. Whatever, just reach out. Don't ever hesitate to reach out to me. But, thank you all again so much for joining me. My name is Dan Whitfield. May y'all have a wonderful evening, a happy Father's Day. May God bless y'all, and may God bless America.